Hey, I see somebody's watching, and can you tell me if the sound is even working? We're going to get started here in about 10 minutes or so, or if several people jump on, we're going to go ahead and get started. Hey, man, there's my buddy, Mr. Andy, the nicest, meanest guy I ever met. We had a good time. Okay, good. I've got an air conditioner on, so I was kind of concerned that it might have a hum in the background, but I'm in the Philippines, so I like to keep it on. So you're not hearing that in the background. I'm gonna shut it off and see if it makes a big difference. I mean, I can hear the difference, but not too bad. So what you up to these days, Andy? Southeast? Wow, East Tennessee. Heath McDaniel. That's cool. Okay, okay, Andy. Heath, where are you from in Southeast Tennessee? I'm from Southeast Missouri, actually. That's where my home not when I'm not in the Philippines. That's where I'm at. I appreciate you coming on. Now we've got four people. That's cool. As you come in, if you would, just send me a quick note. Uh, just send me a quick note as where you're from. And if you have any questions on anything like, what's it like over there in the Philippines, or you may be here, whatever. If you have any questions about our farm or anything like that, please let me know. Andy said you're planning a trip. That's great, man. I'd like to see you, if you get a chance to come this way. Don't know where you're going to be going. But basically, I don't have a lot of plans on this live stream tonight. I want to talk a little bit about the project of our property on Guimaras Island, half hour south of Knoxville. So, what do they call that, Heath? There's Mount Eagle. They call that. I used to drive a truck, and that was kind of a wild ride going down Mount Eagle, going up and going down. So I kind of know sort of where you're at. But yeah, that's a long time ago, back when I was a truck driver. But yeah, the property's coming along good. If you watch the videos, I don't know, sometimes a lot of people come in on the live streams, which I don't do that many. I should do more. But most of the time, they're not subscribers, and that's cool. That's a good way to pick up subscribers or just viewers. What I have learned about YouTube, I like that number. I like to see that subscriber number go up, and we're getting closer to 6,000 subscribers. But what I have found out, and you may know this, you may not know this, but you don't get paid for subscribers. It doesn't really mean anything. But don't let that discourage you. By all means, if you want to see more content, like I put out, you want to subscribe, at least you get notified. But it's the viewers, and I looked at my stats just before I came on, and like the last video, 3% of the viewers were subscribers, and the rest were just viewers. So I appreciate everybody that comes on. Wow, Heath, Gary, Indiana, that's a lot different than just below Knoxville, Tennessee, and north of Chattanooga. I used to live in Maryville, Indiana, so that's pretty close to Gary. That's a whole different landscape, whole different group of people. I bet you're loving Middle Tennessee or East Tennessee. So anyway, I love Tennessee. I love it. I lived in a little town called Hohenwald, Tennessee. It's pretty close to Nashville, Jackson, Tennessee area, and so that's one of my favorite places to live in the whole world, besides the Philippines, of course. But on the farm. The biggest challenge by far is and has been water, because you see we're on an island. If you watch it, you know that. But and I never really thought about it that much before. But water can be limited on an island. I mean, first of all, it's surrounded by salt water. So even if you drill a well, you still run the risk sometimes of getting salt water in your water. And our goal and my plan on that island property, it's 1 hectare, about 2.47 acres. My goal is to become self-sufficient as a family, me and my wife, and maybe some of the family that lives downstairs. I'm in Pavia right now, but if you don't have water, you can't grow vegetables, and that's the big thing. So, but right now, where we just got water up to the house. And when I mean we got it up to the house, if you watch the videos, we have a hand dug well way down on the bottom part of the property. It's probably 150 meters from the house at least. So, and then the trajectory is straight uphill. And again, if you watch my videos, you're going to see, yeah, Heath, yeah, that was a concern of mine too. If you see the videos, the walk up that hill, I can do it now without stopping, and my legs are getting stronger. But it's a pretty good climb. So that water has to get out of that well and be pushed all the way up that hillside and go to the house. So last week I went and bought a 1.5 horsepower water pump, and it was a pretty good sized dude. And then I bought 150 meters of black flexible pipe, and we had to do some fittings and stuff, and then drop a PVC down in the well. You put a foot valve down on the bottom of it, so when the water comes up through, it won't drain back out, and you don't have to it's like siphoning. You don't have to refill it. You don't have to prime the pump every time. So yeah, that's what we're doing right now. But this week, over the weekend, let's see, this is Monday. Over the weekend, we got a cage built for that pump. It's a metal cage, and it's got concrete poured on the bottom of it. And the idea is we don't want to lose that pump. So we don't want somebody to steal it, because we really can't see down there. And somebody could go down there, and we're not going to hear them too much. Yeah, Andy, when you come, hopefully, well, there'll be mangoes there, whether our crop comes in or not at the time. But yeah, so that's a good pump. We got it pumped all the way up the hill into the house, and today they're building the tower for the water tank. So we're not that far away. Once we get that water tank up on the tower, and we plumb in the half-inch pipe goes into the house, we're going to be in business. We'll just have to hook up the toilets, the sinks, and buy some faucets and stuff. We haven't bought all that. I've got to buy a shower head yet, and we'll have running water in that house. That's going to be exciting. So it's yeah, they do need a Harbor Freight. They've got something here in the Philippines, Keith, called Shopee. It's like the Amazon of the Philippines. And you think of Chinese products are cheaply made in America, or what we get here, they're even cheaper. So, and I mean, the quality is questionable. The prices are less expensive, yes. But so I'm going to be buying a bunch of faucets and the shower head. I was looking yesterday at a big hardware store here in Iloilo City. They have some really nice stuff. So I'm looking forward to be able to spend more time out there. But that water is going to be a total game changer as far as the property goes. And I've got some barrels, and we're going to set up a rain collection. We're already partially set up a rain collection system, so when we can fill up a bunch of barrels, and I'm going to run that water down to our garden. I mean, up to this point, we really haven't even been able to water our garden. If it doesn't rain, we've got nothing. It's just the plants are just going to die, because the well we have up on top, it goes dry pretty fast. So, and this is a dry season. That's not uncommon, but it's not that great of a well up there on the top of the property where the garden is. So anyway, hey, Andrew, there's an Andy and an Andrew on there. So, and he said, hi, Andrew, my name is Randall. It's an easy mistake. I'm not mad about it, but I just want to let you know that. Good to see you too, man. Good. I'm really glad you was able to make it to the live stream. I messaged some people. Andrew was one of them, so I really appreciate you coming on. But I'm at the process at the time with the water that I'm contemplating putting a pressure tank and an automatic valve and all that kind of stuff. I'm not that far yet. I'm just thrilled to have some water up on top on the property, because I mean, we've been carrying water out of that front well in 5-gallon buckets, carrying it and dumping it in other barrels. And I'm telling you what, I'll be 64 years old this year, and that's a lot of work. Now, I have to also admit that my brother-in-laws do most of that kind of work, and I appreciate that. We go out there for a couple of days, and they've got it all lined up for us, and we don't have to do a lot of stuff, and so it's pretty enjoyable to be out there. Another thing that we don't really have out there yet, we don't have a mattress to sleep in our bedroom, and I bought two blow-up mattresses, and I'm not that little of a guy, and my mattress seems like I have to wake up and repump it back up about 3 times a night. So my sleep out there hadn't been the greatest, but we've got a mattress here at the house we're going to take over next week, and we've got that portable air conditioner in the bedroom, so we'll have water, we'll have a good place to sleep, and I'm going to start spending more time out there because we'll be able to water plants, we'll be able to do all those kind of things. So. Does anybody have any questions about, what's going on out there at the farm, or what kind of plants to grow, or any kind of questions about buying property in the Philippines, anything like that? I've talked about the water. Oh, wow. Heath, I was probably, yes, they got rid of a drag strip up at Maryville, Indiana. Yeah. I was too young for that. I was probably seventh, 8th grade, something like that. To be honest, I didn't really like it up there, but that was just me. I'm more of a country boy. And then Andrew, oh well. I hope you get to feeling better, buddy. I know it's early. It's early where you're at. I don't know exactly where you're at, Andrew, but that's another thing with these live streams. It's really hard to figure out what's the best. I'm in the Philippines, and I know right now I think it's 7 o'clock in the evening here. In Central Time. I think I've got it. I always check it on my phone, but check my world clock. In St. Louis, it's 6. Yeah, we're still 1 hour, 13 hours difference. It's Monday night, 7 o'clock in the evening, and it's about 6 a.m. So on the Central Time, in the middle of the United States, where I used to live. Okay, my property, it's called a hectare. In the Philippines, they measure everything by square meters. A hectare is 10,000 square meters. Sounds like a lot. I like the way that sounds. But actually, it's just like 2.47 acres is what it is. So you can imagine. And in the Philippines, that's a pretty good sized piece of property. Most people don't own that much. Some foreigners and stuff on Guimaras Island, they may own a couple, 2 or 3. One guy I visited last week, he owns about 8 or 9, but he's been there for 30 years. He's from Scotland, actually, and he has a mango farm. He got 1,200 trees, so that was a lot. That was quite an experience to go to that place. He's got a restaurant down at the front of his property. He's got a processing plant where he processes the mangoes that he can't sell retail. They're not good enough quality, and he's got a big place. So 8 to 12, that's a lot of hectares there. Okay, so you've got about 2.5 acres of just open land, and then 17 acres of woods. I've got a property that I share with my brothers up there in Missouri, and we've got 40 acres there, which we just logged off this late last year, and so we got quite a bit of woods, and we've got a lot of open where we grow hay and stuff like that. So I do love the country. I've thought if I had to, things got bad over here, whatever, I could always go back and put up a shack on the 40 acres and grow everything there. It's a challenge here to find out exactly what, you want to grow here. So I don't know if anybody here on the chat, has really ever grown any vegetables over here. I think most of you are still in the United States or in Canada. I have a lot of Canada people, but Tennessee, I guess it's probably up in the 60s now, probably 40 to 60 degrees. Here it's getting hot, starting to get hot here. It's probably 85 during the day. I got out on the motorcycle a couple times a day, just took a quick trip into town, had to pick up my laundry, drop it off, pick it up today, had to go to the grocery store, And I took my little Honda ADV 150 and just cruised on out. I enjoy doing that. It's not very far away. It's probably less than a mile and a half. But they're starting to grow on the property. I did my last video, and I didn't really title the video so much about everything that was growing on there, but I watched it back because I always do that. I'll put it up on my TV and I'll watch the video to like check the sound and check, the captions and stuff like that. I got to correct some spelling and stuff like that. What time is it in Germany? Well, I could look at that. But anyway, I was surprised at how many things are growing on our property. And I didn't even mention all of them. We've got about 4 or 5 banana trees. We did get a bunch of bananas off of there, one bunch. And they're they call it saba. It's like, if you've ever been to the Philippines, they have this snack called banana Q. It's not as sweet a banana, but they roll it in sugar and they deep fry it. It's a staple snack here, and we got a whole bunch of those. And we got a little citrus thing. I didn't talk about that on the video. It's called dalandan. It's like a little orange about that big, and so it's kind of exciting. And we're just trying to make some of those, try to fertilize them and try to make them grow, trim them back. We got a lot of work to do on our mango trees. I mean, there's a lot of work to do. We sprayed about half of them, and that's all it's going to produce this time. But we've got a lot of trimming to do, a lot of work around, and a lot of fertilization to do because they haven't been taken care of in like 20 years. Oh wow, 12 a.m. Well, I appreciate you staying up. I'm reading a comment here real quick. Yeah. So, but anyway, 70s this week. When I lived close to Jackson, Tennessee, closer to Nashville actually, it seemed like it was a lot quicker response to come into springtime than Missouri was. I also used to, when I was in Missouri, before I sold my businesses, I had a window cleaning company, and we would start about this time. We were really gearing up. A lot of people were ready for us to get in their house and their business and start that cleaning process again. So I know this time of year, it's warming up in Missouri. They'll still have a few cold days, but it's going to get better and better. So that's I still remember how it was back in the U.S. It hadn't been that long ago, and we're planning a trip probably in August to go back to the United States again. We may, like last year, we stayed 3 months. We may stay 3 or 4 months. I'm planning on trying to get what's called a 13A visa, which I don't even have a visa here except for I'm married to a Filipina, so I can come back and forth with her, and I don't have to have a visa. They call it a balik bayan visa, and they just stamp my passport, and it says they write a little BB and they sign it, and I can stay here for a year. And if I stay, as long as I fly out and come back, then I'm good to go. I can stay another year. But we plan a trip to the U.S. every year, so it never runs out. But who knows? I may want to go back and work on my properties in the U.S. I may want to, just for whatever reason, I may not want to, travel with my wife. I don't know what that would be. I can't imagine that, but there may come an instance where I have to do that at some point. So I want to get a visa while I'm back in the United States. I went to the Bureau of Immigration here to try to get that visa. Me and my wife went down there. And it's like a lot of things in the Philippines. I'm not trying to down the Philippines. I choose to live here, but I'm not going to say that there's not a lot of frustrating things here, because there are. And anytime you try to do something, just get ready, lower your expectations, because it's not going to happen fast. We got in there and found out all this paperwork she had to have, and they asked if we had notified 20-something years ago that we were married. We got to notify the Philippines government. She got to get a birth certificate. Her birth certificate's gone because when she was born, they had a big flood up in where she lived at, and it's an hour-and-a-half plane ride from here, so she's going to have to get that. And so many things. When I get back to the U.S., that's why I plan on getting it done back there, because I can fly to Chicago and pretty much get it done at the Philippines embassy up there, and maybe make a 4-day weekend out of it, something like that. Okay, Heath said, how bad is that flight back and forth? Well, it's not fun, I'll tell you, but it's doable, and I do it about once a year. Uh, if you only have like a certain amount of vacation, if you're still working, you pretty much have to take the flight and just go and do it. It's about it between 21 to 30 hour flight. You can get longer flights than that. I have no idea why anybody would want one, but that's enough time to be up in the air. And I think the longest one I ever took was right after COVID, after they opened up the Philippines. We flew from Dallas, Texas to Doha. I guess that's Qatar, whatever. I'm not an expert on geography, but then we had a big layover there. We had a layover in Dallas, and it was a 40-hour ordeal just to get to Manila. And then we had to go fly for another hour to Iloilo City. But here's what I do now. I try to get a direct flight to the United States. And you can do it in about 13 hours, but you're limited on where you're going to land in the United States. So I try to fly to Manila, get a hotel, take an early flight. Hopefully you can get maybe to San Francisco. You can fly, some used to have them to New Jersey. I don't know. It really fluctuates on where you land. But and then one time we flew out of San Francisco coming back. We just went to Singapore. It was a 12-hour flight, nonstop. We landed in Singapore, spent 4 or 5 days in Singapore, got rested up. And then that flight to Manila is about 3 hours, 3.5 hours. That's not too bad. So it can be pretty. They do a good job. You get plenty to eat. If you can fall asleep setting up, you're a better man than I am. I have a hard time sleeping. I get up and I walk around a lot. It's doable. To me, it's worth it. But I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say, oh, it's a breeze. If you get business class or first class, more power to you. I'd like to do that, but I think they're about $10,000 a ticket. So, okay, yeah, if you have a disability, as long as you can sit down and coach, you'd be all right. But you might get an aisle seat, but also emergency door seat. I don't know, depending on your disability, they may not give it to you. But I don't know how that works. I've never had that coveted seat that goes to the side like that, where you can stick your legs out and just relax. But yeah, anybody have any more questions? Andy, you said you're planning on coming to the Philippines if you're still on. Where were you planning on going? You're going to just travel all over, or did you have a destination? But yeah, that flight is it's a good long ways. It really is. But there's no other way to get over here. But I love it over here. I love the people over here. There's drawbacks to anywhere where you live. Okay, you don't know yet. Well, you can come to Iloilo City and I'd put you up somewhere for a couple of nights. I can't make that promise to everybody, but I would to you. So if you want to come to Iloilo City, it's probably hadn't been here, but it's a beautiful town. It's a beautiful place. You can rent a condo like on Airbnb for $20-something a night, US dollars. So, and then you're right in the middle of everything in Iloilo City. So, yeah, Heath, I would definitely suggest that. That's what you'd need probably. But yeah, I don't know how that would work. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a good place. Iloilo City is one of the most modern cities. As far you can go places in Manila. They call it BGC, Bonifacio Global City. Makati, obviously, those two are going to be more updated than Iloilo City. But Iloilo City is not a rundown city. It's got a lot of traffic. It's 500,000 people, but it's got some of the most modern infrastructure in the Philippines. And it's a bicycle-friendly city. I don't ride a bicycle, but, hey, there's a lot of advantages. They've got a lot of modern malls. They've got a lot of good restaurants. They've got a lot of good condos where you can stay. And it's real easy for a guy to get around. Heath, I will tell you this. I've got a friend of mine that lives in Iloilo City. He's got a condo. It's wheelchair accessible if that's where you're at, and he gets around fine in that area. He doesn't get out and do a lot of traveling or anything, but he's retired here, and he's got some pretty severe disabilities. I don't think he can even walk at all. So, and I could be wrong about that, but he's a great guy, and he is spending his retirement here in the Philippines being disabled. So I know it's possible. Uh, yeah, I'm sure. You're up near Chicago. I I parked my car. I drove from below St. Louis, where I used to live, up to Chicago one time because I got a flight out of Chicago uh, directly to Hong Kong or Japan. I think it was Japan, and so that was like a one all in one flight. I thought, well, I'll leave my car up there. When I come back, I'd been over here about 3 weeks, and I had a big bill to pay. I don't remember what it was, but it was expensive to park up there at the airport. And I know if you're parking in the street somewhere, just casual, going downtown in Chicago, it can be ridiculous in price. I know that. Yeah, Andy, I'd like to go to Sikihor. It's not that far from here. Uh, Sikihor, they say you can go swim with the whales. I don't know about doing all that. That ship may have sailed for me. I don't know, but I'd like to see it. And it's it sounds like a place you'd probably like to go to. It's kind of minimum accommodations. I think there may be some nicer places there now. It's getting more commercialized, but it's a good place, and I've heard good things about Sikihor. It's probably a lot less expensive than staying here. Well, Heath, I didn't pay 1,000. Shoot, I don't know. It could have been a couple hundred, and I parked off the airport at a parking garage, and then had to get a ride or Uber or something like that to the airport. It wasn't that bad, but it was pretty steep. That's for sure. And it's been some years ago. I've never done that again. I did go up on the Amtrak one time from Carbondale, Illinois, went all the way up to Chicago. That was kind of cool, but a little bit of a hassle too. So, but anyway, I don't know what time it's getting to be. I've been on here I've been on here about a half an hour. Does anybody else have any questions? 2019. Wow. Andy, was that the time that we met in 2019? Because I don't remember. I've been back and forth several times, and since I retired in 2021, we stay here most of the time. But sometimes I get my trips mixed up. I get those people that are watching, this guy, Andy's son, he's in the chat. We met, I guess maybe it was 2019. I think it was before that, though, because we went up to this rice paddies. They're way up in the northern part of the Philippines. It was once one of the seven wonders of the world. And me and Andy trekked through some of that. I think he did a lot better than I did. He was a lot younger than I was too. But he was a great guy to be around. We stayed kind of in the same place. Oh, wow. Yeah, I thought it was a long time. He said 2012. First time I ever come to the Philippines was 2007. And when I met you, Andy, back in 2012, I wasn't retired yet. In fact, I may have been. I'd quit my job at FedEx, and I had a business of my own, and that's when I went back that time. So, yeah, I always remember Andy. A little bit of story about this guy that's in the chat. We were looking for a tour, and there's all kind of people trying to take foreigners' money over there. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but they see you're a foreigner, they see you're from abroad, and they're going to try to take you for as much as they can. Now, I can't remember what they offered, but they were going to take us on a ride in a jeepney up, twisting through the hills, and I guess we were going to get out for a while and walk down into the rice paddies and just, take pictures and look at all the scenery, and it was beautiful. But I remember we were trying to find a tour, and me and my wife and Andy kind of had teamed up a little bit, and he's not he doesn't speak perfect English, just like I don't speak any German. He's from Germany, But we were able to communicate. He actually speaks pretty good English, and so we were talking to this one little short dude, and he was trying to get it, and he quoted a price. And I remember Andy, he got angry. I was kind of like standing back, like, dude, you know, you need to calm down a little bit. But he got the price down. Seemed like it was about a half of what the guy wanted to. And he took us all. He probably saved me 10, 15 bucks that day. That was, I thought, man, I don't know about this guy. But then, you know, we got through with the tour and everything. I don't know where we ate or whatever, but we went up, set up in this little bar somewhere close to where our hotel was. And we threw back a couple of beers, and I never had this same beer again. And I've really been off beer for a while, but it was called Beer Na Beer. Just you spell beer and then N-A and then beer. It's a little brown bottle. I'm sure it's made by San Miguel Brewery here in the Philippines. But Andrew Wilson, Mr. Wilson, I'll see you later, man. Thanks for stopping by. Andy, you're good enough for me on your English. Yeah, I mean, I was just glad to have somebody, you know, was there we could communicate with. That was pretty cool. So anyway, yeah, I don't think we drank that much, Andy, but it was a cool experience. Looking back, it seemed like it's always better because every place here in the Philippines is hot, you know, and you're sweaty and you're trying to, you know, Tagalog is not my first language. It's not even really my second. I've learned a lot since I've been here and over the 20 years being married to my wife, but still it's a challenge. But I get around pretty good. I do all the shopping and I buy everything. I talk to everybody here. A little bit of English they know, and Tagalog that I know, and a little bit of Hiligaynon, which is the language here in Iloilo City. I can get by okay. So anyway, there's only two of us left on here. Heath, you have any questions? I don't know if are you a subscriber to the channel? I don't know if you've commented or not. I can't keep track of everybody. Not that I got that big of a channel, because I don't. But I'm gonna try to do some more live streams and try to get to know some people a little better. Andy, when you get ready to come back, you just let me know. And if you want to stop by Iloilo City, you know, like I said, we've got a bedroom here. It's got air conditioning. It's nice. You know, you want to stay here a couple nights. I can't really promise much more than that because I don't know where we'll be for sure. But we set it up. You know, you can hang out for a couple of nights here and maybe go over to the island. You know, and check out the property over there. So just reach out to me and yeah, I'd love. My wife would like to see you, and I probably still have this beard. I didn't have this beard when I met you, just a little bit of one. But anyway, I'm gonna get off here. You can, you know, if you have any questions, you can still comment even after it's over. I'll be glad to get with you on something. Go to the channel and go to the community part of the channel. Just my Philippines project, my email in there. You can click on the email, and if you want to send me an email, you can do that. Okay, end of March we'll still be here for sure, Andy. So yeah, I'll tell my wife I talked to you, and she's upstairs working on the plants even though it's dark. We got lights up there and stuff. The mosquitoes are making a dinner out of her probably. So anyway, I'm gonna get off here. It's just kind of a short. I've been on here almost 45 minutes, but it's kind of a short live stream. I hadn't done one in a long time. I'm surprised that the internet stayed on. That's why I don't really do live streams, because the internet has been poor. But this trip, it's been better. So I'll try to come back. We'll take care, Andy. We'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching.